Today's topic will be the cognitive and the constructivist approach. In this lesson, you will learn about the cognitive approach, particularly Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development. You will also learn the constructivist teaching and learning, nature and role of the learners, and different kinds of learners. Constructivism is a philosophical belief that people construct their own knowledge and understanding of the world or reality through self-experience and by reflecting on those experiences. In educational perspective, learners are the builders and creators of meaning and knowledge. It is a view of learning based on the belief that knowledge is not a thing that can be simply given by the teacher at the front of the classroom to students sitting in their benches. Rather, knowledge is constructed by learners through an active mental process of development. One psychologist among many others who contributed to this is Jean Piaget. He believed that learning takes place when the learners are engaged in the process of meaning-making by actively engaging in the learning process. Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development. The cognitive theory believes that learning is an active process which brings about changes in the cognitive process or structure. It assumes that our thought processes affect the way in which we behave. Jean Piaget was one of the most influential exponents of this theory. According to him, intelligence was a dynamic trait and not a fixed trait. It allows an individual to effectively deal with his environment. He believes that intellectual growth is a process of adaptation or adjustment to the world. This adaptation happens through assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration. Assimilation is the process of responding to the environment according to one's existing cognitive structure or schema. It means a child's ability to understand what he is already familiar with. Accommodation is modification or changing the existing schema. This happens when the existing schema does not work and needs to be changed to deal with a new object or situation. So it is a process of combining, modifying, and changing the existing cognitive structure according to the demands and needs of the situation. Equilibration. Then children try to strike a balance between assimilation and accommodation. This brings a mechanism called equilibration. It means balancing between old and new experiences as children move from one stage to another. When the new information or knowledge is acquired, the process of assimilation with a new schema continues until the next time a need to make an adjustment to it arises. This process of adjustment is called adaptation. Adaptation is a process of fitting in between one's own cognitive structure and the new experiences. It is a continuous process and involves a child's change according to the need of the environment. Constructivist beliefs have recently been applied to teaching and learning in the classroom. Constructivism in education is based on experiential learning through real-life experience to construct and conditionalize knowledge. Traditionally, a teacher transmitted information to students who passively listened and acquired those facts, but a productive constructivist class no longer relies on the facts provided by the teacher alone. The learners are actively involved in learning. It views learning as an active process where the learners construct new ideas and knowledge based on their previous experiences. The teacher is not supposed to supply and feed learners with ready-made knowledge. It emphasizes active role of the learners in building understanding and making sense of the information that they receive from the teacher. Learning is regarded as an interaction between the learners and the learning environment. During this process, prior knowledge of learners is used to construct concepts and new understanding. The situations created for teaching and learning are realistic. They are based on real-life situations and daily life problems. This helps the learners to learn better on the basis of context and situation, and the learning that takes place is more effective. The teacher's interpretation of the content for study is only one possible interpretation in the classroom, so the students are allowed to explore variant interpretations. However, the teacher's role is not reduced. The teacher facilitates learning. His role is to mentor learning. His role becomes more complex, challenging, and pivotal, as he needs to have insight, outlook, and competency in various subjects. Teacher needs to create right learning environment while checking for every student's participation. The teacher makes all efforts to present the content to the students in multiple ways and create situations for learners. Teacher also provides maximum opportunities for students to learn more from different activities. He encourages learners to become responsible and independent. He does not only support learning, but also encourage learners' all-round development. Nature and role of learners. In constructivist classroom, learners construct their own knowledge by integrating their prior knowledge with the new information. They do not rely on rote memory. Learners are no longer viewed as passively receiving information. They do not reproduce what the teacher says, but instead, they take active participation in the learning process. So, learners are at the center of the learning process. The whole learning process is planned according to the needs of the learners so that they could benefit the maximum from it. In any learning situation, motivation plays an important role. Hence, learners are motivated and guided to produce new ideas and knowledge. Learners are given maximum opportunities to participate in various situations and activities. This helps them to participate, adjust, share, and learn with others. A constructivist classroom advocates learning through experience. Learning becomes more effective when it takes place through self-experience. Thus, learners are made to learn through their own experiences with the help of situations and activities. The teacher and the learners share responsibility and demonstrate mutual respect. Learners' initiation and autonomy is accepted, and they are encouraged to analyze and interpret learning. Critical thinking in learners is fostered. This is done in order to help learners become motivated and independent. Most importantly, learners are engaged in inquiry, imaginative and creative thinking, invention, interaction, and personal reflection. How do a constructivist classroom deal with different kinds of learners, such as beginners and young learners? Students are no longer considered people with blank minds. They base their present learning on their prior knowledge. Motivation is an important factor for beginners to learn effectively, so teachers encourage and motivate learners by introducing simple oral practice of words that are familiar to the learners and then connect them to new situations. Students do not just listen, but they also ask questions and let teachers clarify their doubts and help them understand better. One-way communication is replaced by two-ways or multiple ways communication. Beginners are encouraged to participate with peer groups and imitate them. These students learn from teachers, parents, peer groups, and society while actively involving in the learning process. Whether it is for young learners or beginners, a democratic environment is very important. In a class of young learners, a teacher plans activities and allows learners to express freely in written or oral form. After that, correction work is done by the teacher. This suggests for further planning. Sometimes, some students may have a deep fear of making mistake or may be plain shy to participate in the activities, so teachers should make conscious awareness of such difficulties or any other problems that students must be facing. The activities and situations should be organized, keeping in mind the levels of students and their learning and understanding capacity. Constructivist strategies make teachers more effective. They are able to promote communication and create flexibility so that the needs of all students can be met.